So why is meditation so important? Someone from our tribe was curious and wanted to know a little bit more information. And I'm going to give you a cute little tip. It has to do with napping. Nowadays, everybody keeps talking about change your thoughts and it's going to change your life. But sometimes that's really hard for me, especially when I'm having one of those pity parties for myself. I really feel like a fraud. It's like my body and my brain are addicted to these chemicals of feeling crappy, and I don't have the energy or the desire to feel better. It kind of feels like everything around me sucks, and it totally feels counterproductive for me to slow down, focus on my breath, and relax. I'm like, no way. This train has already left the station and I'm trying to figure shit out. So in this episode, we're going to take a different approach. I'm going to share with you what I did to help trick myself into liking meditation. So when meditation was first introduced to me, I was such a sarcastic wise ass. I thought, so you want me to just sit here and breathe and watch the paint dry and all my wishes are going to come true? Sign me up! I was like, come on, are people really buying into this? Okay, I thought I'm going to try this. But to my surprise, it was a lot harder than I thought. I felt like that kid trying to hold their breath underwater. I was okay for like the first few seconds, and then I started to feel my mind thrashing. I was uncomfortable, I was self-critical, and I just couldn't do it. And my critic was like, wow, you can't even breathe right. And I was like, yeah. And that made me feel even worse. But I knew I had to approach this differently. I thought, you know what? I have to stop calling this meditation. I have to drop all my expectations. And I just have to relax. I know how to do that. I know how to relax. I know how to chill. I know how to zone out.
I am super chill all the time.
But most importantly, I know how to nap. I don't have to convince myself to take a nap. I can just do it. I could nap right now. If you said take a nap, I'd probably pass out on this chair. So I set up my mystical room and I would tell my whole family, I would announce, I'm gonna meditate, so nobody bug me. And they would laugh because they knew I was just gonna go take a nap. But I thought, that's okay. Like I have no expectations. I'm just gonna lay down on my mat and I'm gonna focus on my breath. Sometimes I would focus on my breath a little bit. Sometimes I'd pass out and I thought that's okay. But when I woke up, again, I would just kind of focus on my breath and I would just see all my thoughts coming in. It kind of felt like one of those drains in the sink, all my thoughts just flooding in. But this time, instead of getting angry or frustrated, I just watched it, right? I thought, wow, holy crap, there's a lot happening here right now. So I decided that I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this for about a week. I'm just going to lay down and I'm going to pretend I'm taking a nap. I'm going to practice this when I first wake up, because that's when I'm tired, during the day, because that's when I'm tired, and right before I go to bed, because that's when I'm tired. So I really wanted to make this process easy for myself. I'm not going to start in the middle of the day, or I should say like after 4 cups of coffee. So once my body kind of got used to this, I changed it. I decided now I was going to sit in a chair. Now, instead of laying back with my head, I actually tilted my head forward. And again, I would still practice the breathing. I just sat there. And anytime I started to have an expectation, I would just say, hey, you're just chilling. You're just taking a nap. You know how to do that. And every time I said that, I felt myself relax just a little bit more. And then right before I would fall asleep, that's when I would just focus on my breath. And what I found was now I was in touch with that little sweet spot. It was really hard for me not to be super excited, like, we did it! We reached the sweet spot! Not that sweet spot. The longer I started to stay in that space of stillness, all of a sudden I was feeling tingling in my brain, and almost like it was vibrating. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? It almost felt like I was being plugged into something new. And I thought, nobody ever mentioned this in any book, but this was kind of cool. And if this happened to you guys, I would love to hear what happened and what you think it was. Leave that in the comments. I'm actually kind of curious. So why is meditation so important? Let's let our emotions take a back seat for this episode and let the science take the stage.
Why are we wearing bras on our heads?
Ceremonial.
Well, why do you ask? Because it's time for us sensitive types to take a more objective look at what's happening so that we can help each other snap out of this trance. There is nothing special about you beating yourself up or identifying with any of those crappy emotions, so stop doing it. The purpose of meditation is to help us get out of survival mode, feeling worried, scared, angry, distrustful. I thought that was just being an Italian mother. Did I mention hungry and judgmental? When we're in survival mode, there's no space or time for change. Our brain, it's on high alert. So this is where meditation comes in. We're just playing with and readjusting frequencies in our brain. So think of it this way. When we're thinking of our day-to-day life, we're in the known self. We are functioning from the neocortex, right? Which is that analytical mind. This is when our brains are in beta. This is the frequency where you're just talking to your friends about current affairs. Now in Orange County, current affairs can mean something else, but that's another episode altogether. It's also when you're doing tasks around the house or the office, you're just on high alert and you're analyzing everything. It's like you're basically running your desktop, that limited information. As we begin to meditate and we slow down our breathing, we can begin to tap into that subconscious mind, the limbic brain. This is the doorway into the quantum field. This is where all that magic happens because you go from all those limited beliefs into something new. You're switching channels. So just by relaxing and slowing down your breath, you're opening up a new life, a new way of being. You are connecting to the Wi-Fi. And as you do this, you're just shifting your brainwaves from beta to alpha. Who knew that napping would be this much fun? I mean, who knew that meditation could be this much fun? When I started to understand the science behind meditation, I got so excited about how I could shift my life just by slowing down my breath. I could now start to feel the energy around me waking up and moving. So instead of feeling tired and depressed, I was starting to wake up and I could feel the importance of doing these meditations. And I started to finally feel what it was like to be in neutral. I wasn't tied to a personality, a self, a past identity, an emotion. I was finally free in the moment. The more I practiced this, the more I caught my anxieties, my old programs throughout the entire day. I have to admit it, at first I was a little judgmental of myself. I found myself tensing up at like the littlest things, like I'd see a neighbor or a friend, or I'd be driving or I'd be shopping, and I would automatically notice that maybe I tensed my arms or my fingers or my stomach. But because I was practicing meditation, it made me aware of what was happening and it gave me the space to go, why are you doing that? You're not going to start fighting anybody. So it gave me the space to kind of look at my hands and just relax and relax that energy.
Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
And the more I found I started doing this, the more energy was coming back to me and the less I was identified with reacting to everything around me. So the funny thing is that just by relaxing and slowing down, you have access to that universal knowledge. That's the key. That's the whole exciting part. But now comes the practice. Because my mind is so active, I find that doing visualization meditations, they work best for me. Or I breathe really heavy. I'm like, now the reason why I do this is because when those old thoughts start coming into my mind, I try to make my breathing more interesting than my thoughts. And that kind of helps me to regain my power. It's like turning the volume up when your kids are talking to you, if you're watching television or listening to the radio and you're like, I'm just gonna turn the volume up. Your mind wants to control everything. It doesn't want you to change. It doesn't want you to wake up. It likes its addictions to those old emotions. It doesn't want you to change. We meditate to get out of that third dimensional known world. We meditate so that we can start to connect to that quantum field. We meditate so that we can start to feel bigger than our body, than our thoughts, than our emotions. And that's the key to it all. So it's not so much you meditate because that's what's in style and that's what's going to get you to the goals and all of that, but it's really to get connected with your true self, with your potential, with that inner light. And I thought, well, that's worth making time for. But another great gift meditation gives you is that space. It gives you the space between you and another person so that you're not always reacting to everything around you. I hope that all this mumble jumble starts to give you another perspective of how meditation can help shift your brain waves and release all those old programs and old beliefs to make room for your true potential. And if you want to go deeper, I highly recommend Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. Now you can look at yourself a little more objectively and connect to your untapped potential. As my weekly reminder, you are not your body, you are not your emotions, you are not your thoughts. You are light. So start shining, baby, and give me a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Marisa Grieco, your mystical guide.